Welcome to Just Saying, a podcast produced by and recorded at Tri-State Worship Center. Now here are your hosts, Holly Schneider and Pastor Terry Wagner.
Welcome
Hello.
to the last episode of the season.
Yeah, I'm glad you said of the season because I was getting.
It's a lightning episode.
It's sounding like a shotgun episode.
Yes.
Sorry.
Welcome, everyone.
I couldn't not do it.
Well, you are the sound effects man.
Yeah.
Lightning episode, lightning round.
We
That's
trust
good.
you.
Yeah, so welcome, everyone.
Welcome all.
We have in the room Pastor Terry.
Hello.
And Tyler. I'm just
up?
giving you guys straight up
Right, yeah, man, that was-
entrances
No
today.
I
nicknames.
feel
No nicknames, no nothing.
I feel
Just
so unloved
straight
right
up.
now.
We don't have time. We got to get
Right.
to these
Yeah.
questions.
We got to get to these questions.
No banter.
We have some good ones.
Oh, speaking of banter. Let me start the clock.
timer. Anything new in your world? How's your week been?
It's been awesome.
Are you
It's
back in the saddle finally?
Don't even mention vacation. I listened to the last episode. You guys really ragged me on the vacation. So just,
What vacation?
Yeah, I don't take vacations anymore because I don't want to be ragged about it when I get back.
Vacation.
Gee whiz, man, you guys were so touchy.
It's like we needed to talk about a fence.
Ooh, I'm not offended by it.
A fence. I got one of them in my yard.
I actually got a new fence.
Did
You
you?
did.
Yeah, it's nice.
I actually don't have one in my yard.
Oh. Liar.
Wow. Maybe
That'll
we
be
need-
in
Today
the-
we're talking about lying.
That'll be in the 10 Commandments in a few weeks.
Yeah, you know it will be.
Ooh, yeah.
Thou shalt not lie.
True that.
So nothing?
Nothing. I'm good, man. It's just been a great, just awesome. Baptized 14 people yesterday.
Yes.
It was a good service. Had a good crowd.
Yes.
It's all good. I'm just on cloud 9 right now.
All good.
It was a good day. I, for my first time, handed towels out for a baptism
You did a great job.
She's going to
Thank
put it on
you.
her resume.
and tunics,
And you held a microphone.
and I held a microphone. I did a lot
Well,
of things.
she kept turning it off though.
I did. I don't know why. I think it's just a natural response.
I think you were doing it just to set me up.
I
Turn
really
it off, hand it
wasn't.
to him, and then I start talking.
Sabotage.
Nothing's coming out.
I was handing out tunics, and we needed more smaller ones because 12 of the 14 were children.
Children's.
Yeah. And Ryan's like, who makes these? And I'm like, I don't know.
Let's see if we can make some real quick.
Yeah. He's like, we
who
need to
cut
have
these out of
we need to have
material?
them make some more of these. I was like, well, I'll
You
ask,
should,
but
you should tell him. That originally, those were tablecloths.
were they really?
I believe it.
If you were baptized yesterday,
You were baptized in a
those-
tablecloth.
those were tunics. If you're not listening and you weren't baptized yesterday, those were tablecloths, and somebody just like cut them and put a hole, put your head through it. But they made smalls and
Yeah.
large and extra large.
Yeah,
and
we have several smalls, no mediums.
I think
we
those
have-
got stolen.
We have one extra small and then extra larges.
Right.
So we need a better variety.
Those kids look like Pigpen. walking up to- Of course, you couldn't see what I just did because I'm a floating head
He's a
today.
Tyler, anything new?
Nope.
All right. When does school start back?
A week and a half?
19th?
No, I'm sorry. 2.5 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
need
19th.
Yeah, we're starting our back to school shopping. It's the worst.
Not ready for that.
Fun times.
No.
Fun times that us grandparents don't have to do anymore.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, what's new with me? I'm so glad you asked.
Yeah, Holly.
Holly, what's new with you?
I hate that this is our last episode of the season because do you know what season has officially started?
I don't have any sad sound effects.
Football.
Football season.
Yes.
Well, more specifically, South Point Little League football.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
Whoop, whoop.
I love it. And hopefully when we
Boys
start
of fall.
Yeah. Yes. Actually, one of the moms is doing shirts, and she actually made a shirt for Saturdays are for football because so many shirts say Friday are for football because it's Friday night football.
Yeah.
But it actually says Saturday for football. So I got Isaiah one, and I got a shirt from your wife too.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your.
Sorry,
That's a plug.
Charlie's.
That's a plug.
That's a
Ashland
plug.
Mall.
We need to get some money.
Get your school gear there. Tons of cute stuff.
Yeah.
I'll write you guys a check. Just do me a favor. Don't cash it for.
But hopefully the next time we see you or you hear from us, I'll be sharing some good news on a great season again.
I'm sure you will.
And a
Amen.
Turf Bowl championship.
Yes. I know we probably don't have time to get into it, but this year for the Turf
You're
Bowl.
the producer. You take my
This
time
year
if
for
you
the
want.
Turf Bowl, they're actually doing big schools and big schools and little schools and little schools.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Okay.
for the first time. I guess it's been talked about for a few years, and there was a lot of complaints. Not complaints, but just, you have a huge Milton who has a huge pool to grab from, and then you have like us and Fairland who, I think
Relatively small.
Fairland's even struggling to have enough for teams this year, let alone have what they have. But so we'll do our scrimmages against, I think Hurricanes came into the league this year, so we'll do our scrimmage against them and the Lawrence County, but then we'll be playing mostly all the small schools, and then it'll be a small
Lawrence County, Kentucky.
Yes, small school, and big school for the Turf Bowl. That is on Halloween.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know
Well-
what made the movie Hoosiers such a good movie?
What?
Because it wasn't big school, little school. It was
Gene
little
Hackman.
school against the big school
Ooh, Gene Hackman. Dad had a friend that was in that movie.
for about 5 seconds.
Yeah. He played a reporter?
Yeah.
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 He's sitting at the scorer's table at the end doing this.
It just
Cam-
pans
the camera
by.
pans
Nailed it.
But he's in it.
Every time I watch it, I'm like, I know that guy. All right.
You know, they're
There's a-
playing one of the NBA games. I forget what they call it. They're going to play it at Hinkle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is where the final game of Hoosiers is played at Hinkle Fieldhouse on the University of Butler, which is an old field house, but
Yeah.
they still use it. Pack it out.
Yeah, there's a couple of girls from South Point who made it in the crowd scene in the We Are Marshall movie.
Oh.
One of them is Josh Tibbetts' wife, Courtney Tibbetts.
Okay.
No way.
Yeah,
Really?
she's in the crowds, one of the crowd scenes.
She got baptized.
Tara,
yesterday,
She did.
Tara Coleman, I think, was the other girl. But yeah,
Very cool.
Wow.
interesting.
All right.
Okay.
Well, let's get
Let's
started.
Hey.
I didn't make it over there that day.
I was serving
You may
tables
know
during that season, and I did serve a lot of those.
You may know me. My name is Matthew McConaughey.
No, it's not.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Weirdo. All right.
I guess we should get started.
Anyways, just joking. So our first question from a faithful listener.
Faithful listener.
Long
of
time
the-
listener, first time caller.
Right. Of the 8 people that are listening today. That's why I told another pastor, I was like, it was last Monday, and he had texted me during the podcast, and I didn't see it till afterwards. I said, sorry for the delay. We were recording a podcast. He said, oh, big time. I said, yeah, big time. We're got 10 listeners.
They're faithful.
Right. They listen every
But
week.
we love you.
Yes,
Thank you.
very much. But,
Please keep listening.
but we want you to tell your friends about it.
So our first question, which is crazy that this person sent me this question because I literally had just watched something on it and was actually researching it myself. So the first
Oh, so I didn't have to come up with any answers.
No, you did. I'll let you answer first. The question is, did God harden Pharaoh's heart and then punish Pharaoh for having a hardened heart?
Okay, first, God did not harden his heart. He did not harden the heart of a soft-hearted ruler. Pharaoh was not, he hardened his own heart. Matter of fact, there's scripture, if you read it, and I'm going to be honest about it, I really didn't pay that much attention to it until you sent me the question. But if you read it, during the first 5 plagues, Pharaoh hardened his own heart.
Correct.
And then God comes on the scene, basically 6 through 10, like, okay, you hardened your heart, you didn't respond, so now here we go. Right? And it says in Exodus 7:13, Pharaoh's heart grew hard, and he did not heed them, and as the Lord had said. His heart grew hard. Exodus 7:22, then the magicians of Egypt did so with their enchantments. They were mimicking what Moses and Aaron was doing, and Pharaoh's heart grew hard. And he did not heed them, as the Lord had said. So it really wasn't God hardening a soft-hearted ruler. It was a hard-hearted ruler just being hard-hearted. But then after that 5th one, when the 6th one came along, then God did come on the scene, and the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, it says. But prior to that, he hardened his own heart. So it's not until the sixth plague of boils. I don't know why that was why was that the fulcrum? Why was that the turning point? I mean, boils. There's got to be a sermon in that somewhere. That's where the text really shifts to God hardens Pharaoh's heart. So the question is, why did God do that? Well, there's a whole lot of reasons, and I don't know we won't take the time to get them all, but I will just land it on this: because God's sovereign. Mm-hmm. And a side note to that is that may be one of the most difficult theological concepts for Christians to get a hold of. That God is sovereign.
Yeah.
He does what he wants to do when he wants to do it, and he don't need nobody's permission. He's omnipresent, omniscient, everywhere, all the time, all-powerful, all-knowing. He makes decisions that he thinks are best, and he doesn't have to ask our permission. Mm-hmm. So I think it was his sovereignty, but the Apostle Paul does address directly, at least why he felt that it happened. In Romans chapter 9, he explains that God used Pharaoh's resistance to display his ultimate power. He hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he could use that resistance to display his own power, and that his name, God's name, would be declared across the entire region, across the entire earth, rather than it be Pharaoh's. So I don't think it was God hardening Pharaoh's heart as much as it was Pharaoh rejecting what God was trying to do. Again, you can look at other things. It's free will exercise, right? I mean, that Pharaoh didn't have to give in, and he didn't. That was his free will. He thought he was doing the right thing, but ultimately, God said, that resistance I will use to show how powerful I really am. And so that would be my answer, is that God didn't harden his heart until he got to a point where his heart was so hardened that God used that then to display his power and his glory sovereignly.
Sovereignly. He gave Pharaoh over to the sinful choice that Pharaoh had already made.
New Testament all day long,
yes.
Right?
So let me just read this real quick. It says, it's only after Pharaoh has said no again and again that the text starts to show that the Lord hardened his heart. Hardened his heart. Woo.
Say it fast.
I can't say it slow. The order actually matters because, like you said, Pharaoh chose first, but then God made the choice permanent. And Pharaoh was not a neutral man to start with, which you already said.
Yes, exactly.
You go back to chapter 1 and you check what his father had done, and he enslaved people. He ordered midwives to kill newborns. He commanded babies to be drowned in the river. But he had been hardening himself for years, long before Moses ever showed up.
Correct.
So this picture helps us understand that the same sun, this is so good, the same sun that melts wax also hardens clay. Sun.
My turn.
The sun doesn't change, the material does.
Right.
And God's presence doesn't create what's inside of a person, but it brings out what's already there.
Mm-hmm. Preach.
Right?
Yep. So, and the plagues that were used, that, again, 5 of them that Pharaoh's heart was already hardened, the ultimate punishment, those plagues that led to this ultimate punishment were designed to systematically dismantle Egypt's gods so that God could prove who was God.
Yeah.
Which, of course, was Yahweh, who holds that supreme authority over all creation, and he proved it in that moment and used Pharaoh's hardened heart to make that happen.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good question, too, because that's not the first
Thank
time
you,
I've heard that question.
listener number 6.
Yes, thank you.
And for those that are keeping track, that's 75 times the word hardened has been spoken so far.
I'm
He
sure
has a counter. Ding,
somebody get a hold of Guinness.
ding, ding, ding.
That's got to be a record.
All right. I feel like we've answered this question before, but I'm going to ask
I think I
it.
opened an episode with it. I don't think we answered it.
Can a woman be a pastor?
Can or may.
The question was can.
The short answer, according to the Church of God, which we are denominationally a Church of God, the answer is yes. That's the short ansur.
All right, great. Moving
Okay.
on.
Moving on.
However,
Hardened.
hardened. The highest credential in the Church of God, we have 3 levels. Exhorter, which is your beginners.
Oh boy, you might need to turn my
It's your learner's permit.
You might need to turn my camera off for this part.
Then there's ordained.
Fix your face.
There's ordained, and then there's ordained bishop. Okay, and while ladies, women can be pastors, ministers, credentialed in the Church of God, the highest credential they can attain is ordained. They can at this point. Ordained bishop is not on the table.
Then why don't you share with everyone why?
Well, I can't. I don't know that I know why. I know why I think why.
I know why I think why.
Okay, why don't you say why you think why? Hardened.
Because only the ordained bishops
Right,
are allowed
yes.
to hold international offices and vote at the General
Right.
Assembly.
The Church of God, as a declaration of faith, we believe in male headship.
Correct.
Men should be the priests of their home, men of the cross. They should be the head of their house. And I know this leads to a whole other conversation about, well, if they can be pastors, then why can't they go ahead and be in that level of leadership in the Church of God? I don't know the answer to that.
Well, my answer to that, when I have been asked that question, is even the pastor has to answer to someone. And if the pastor has to answer to someone, you have to answer to our state overseer,
Right.
and then you have to answer to our general overseer,
The Pope.
which both of those are male.
Correct.
Because they have to be an ordained bishop.
Right. No,
so even though they are a pastor, they still have headship over them
Right.
that is male.
I agree that I feel like that the biggest reason why ordained bishop is not an attainable level is because that's really the only prerequisite to be voted on for any of our upper
Right.
positions. And so the debate generally is split between two particular viewpoints. One is what they call complementaryism. I don't even know if I said that right, but it felt really good when I said it. Hardened, which views leadership as gender specific, and there's a lot of verses that they'll use in that argument. But their key verse is 1 Timothy 2:12. I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. That's their key verse, right? Proponents of that view use that as a universal rule for church order.
Yeah.
Okay. But then you have the egalitarianism view, which again is what we are, Church of God, which is a view that church leadership role is open to both genders based on spiritual giftedness. All right. And the key verse there is Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male or female. For you are all one in Christ Jesus. So that's kind of where the division is at. I mean, there's plenty of examples in the Bible of female leadership, female prophets, teachers, people that helped. One of the things that if you get into the discussion about why we should believe the Bible is true and accurate is because how Jesus utilized women in ministry. That women were the first to the tomb. Mm-hmm. Women were the first to announce his resurrection. And if that wasn't true, he would not have put that, the Holy Spirit would not inspire people to write that women were that involved.
Right.
And so I think that, again, we look at it from that viewpoint of, Jesus had women operating in ministry in many capacities, and I think we should too. So here's where I will land on this, and then you can take it, because I'm giving you a little time to cool off before you jump in.
So you're not so hardened.
This might not. Let's see, that's number 107. This may not set well with some people, but in the end, is this argument? Is it a heaven and hell issue? In other words, is God going to send an entire community of faith
Right.
to hell because their belief was a woman could be a pastor? I mean, is that, and even some of the questions later, I will use that same perspective. Is that heaven and hell? Is it a heaven and hell issue?
Right.
And I don't know. I don't know what it is. Here's what I would say to you. If you believe that women should not be pastors, then you should find a community of faith that holds that view.
Correct.
And if you believe that women should be pastors or can be pastors, then find a community of faith that has that view. We just recently had one young lady. I think it's okay to say her name, isn't it? Are we under any kind of legal thing that we can't
I
say
don't
names?
think so.
You can beep it out if you want to. Lucy Johnson she just received her exhorter's credentials. That's the entry level, the beginners, if you will, and I'm sure she's going to do some great stuff in ministry. And so there was a family. I'm not going to say they left the church over this, but I later found out that one of the reasons that they left our church and pursued ministry elsewhere is because they said that I said that we would not allow women ministers in the church, which I don't know how I would have said that because it's not true.
I don't know how they would have attended here and thought that.
I don't either. I think going back to the last episode,
yeah.
When people say that God said something, I'm not sure He's always in the works. But
Yeah.
find a community of faith that has that, because I don't see it as a heaven and hell issue. I don't see it as an issue that because I allow a lady to speak from our pulpit, our resolute desk. I don't think that's something that God's going to send me to hell over.
Yeah, I agree.
All of that?
Yeah, I don't
got
have
nothing?
I don't have anything to really
Wow.
add.
No rebuttal.
No,
You seem hardened right now.
I know. I believe in male headship. I believe I am for what the Church of God does. I'm not against that. I always kind of joke around about it. I think I used to be very against it, but I'm not anymore. And I am an exhorters, and I'm looking to get my ordained minister's license.
In process.
But I think a lot of it has to do with calling. I think a lot of it has to do with, your convictions. I think that scripture in Timothy is completely taken out of context. I mean, there's so much to look into.
They want to put it in the social context of
Yeah.
the time, and so I get that. I do.
For that specific thing. Now, that doesn't negate male headship. I think
No.
that's my biggest issue is they want to pull that out and say, well, if you're letting a woman preach, then that's not male headship, which that's not true. Even if I get in the pulpit and preach and I say something outlandish, you are the authoritative.
Say it.
Authoritative?
I love it.
Authoritative.
Authoritative.
I think that's got a
You're the
W-A-R-T.
authority, right? You're
Yes,
the umbrella
that's my
over
responsibility,
me. Correct.
yes.
The authoritator.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're the authoritator.
I'm one of them there
Tater.
authoritators everywhere I go.
So, yeah. But I do agree. I feel like, as you have said 100 times, people need to find out for themselves,
Yep.
be knowledgeable,
Yep.
research, and all because it's something somebody has told you multiple times growing up. That doesn't mean it's necessarily true, and you need to become knowledgeable for yourself about what that is.
Hardest thing to do is unlearn things we learn wrong.
Correct. I mean, we've had people, I know people who currently attend that when they started attending,
I wasn't going to bring it up, but
well,
since
it's
you
okay.
did.
They struggled with women teachers, and they didn't even want to come to the adult class because of that.
Right.
And then that same family sat on the front row when I preached a few weeks ago and amened me, and and loved the sermon. And so I think that was a lot of praying and researching and really digging into what was true versus what they've just always been taught.
Well, again, it goes down to the two camps. One camp saying it's a gender-based issue. The other camp saying it's a spiritual giftedness issue. And if someone has a gift, I think the church's responsibility is to facilitate that.
Steward it. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, moving on.
Next question.
Thank you, listener number 2.
Here's a question for the podcast.
Oh, boy.
I recently saw a video clip that explains how in Hebrew, Bethlehem, alpha numeric value is 490, and it expresses how the word Bethlehem means, the house of bread. And Jesus used the metaphor of bread as representing his body, and that breaking bread is a way to show forgiveness. And that when Peter asked Jesus about forgiveness, he said to forgive 70 times 7, which also equals 490. I'd love to hear your take on this.
Oh my goodness. I am a skeptic sometimes to a fault on a lot of things. Gematria, which is what this is, when you take the alphanumeric value of the Hebrew text, and again, that's legit.
Can you say that word again?
No.
Okay.
If you say it fast, it's believable.
Gematria.
Right. See, it's like, wow, that flowed out so easy. It's a traditional system of assigning numerical values to letters, adding them up, and finding a hidden meaning, which again, that's kind of where that question's at. There is a scripture in the Old Testament, I wish I could remember where it's at, but it does talk about don't look for hidden meanings. Everything is plain. It's right there. But people do, and that's okay. Everything I'm about to say is not disparaging towards people who are into numerology. I am not. I never have been. People are like, I had a dream. I kept seeing number 7. What do you think that means? Bad pizza. I don't know.
Were there 11 sevens? You might need a Slurpee.
Oh, man. It took me a minute. I had to think about it.
Tyler was there.
But
He was right there with me.
some of the words like these are Hebrew words. Torah in the alphanumeric world is 611. Okay, Torah has 611 commandments, or the law, what we call the law, 600. So shalom, 376, which shares the same root as the Hebrew word for complete. So I get that people want to do that, and that's fine. I even did one myself, as a matter of fact. There is a calculator, believe this or not, online. It's called the say it again.
Gematria.
I don't remember now. It's on there. You can type a word in, and it'll give you the alphanumeric value. And I typed in grace, which the Hebrew word is charis or charis. I've always wanted to do that little thing. And it equals, you ready? 911.
Oh.
Huh? I mean, now let's make a whole podcast about that.
911.
But here's where the argument kind of falls apart, is that the Hebrew text did not have vowels, right? And so if you, like, Bethlehem was, in Hebrew, is Beetlehem.
You talked about this yesterday, didn't you?
Did I?
Yeah, Yahweh.
Not having...
Oh, Yahweh, yeah, on the Yahweh thing. And both of those words, if you type them into the Gematria calculator,
I missed my cue.
which, by the way, it's because you're becoming hard.
I was like, why are
Holly.
you pointing at me?
What did I do?
www.gematrix.org. I mean, really, you can just, both of them are 184, whether you type in Bethlehem or whether you type in Beetlehem, right? So does Bethlehem mean house of bread? Of course it does. Yes, there's no argument there. Is forgiveness important? Primo, I mean,
Absolutely.
top, right? Because you got unforgiveness, you're not going to heaven. But I've never been that numerology guy that says, let's look at these numbers and how they all add up and what that means. Because, going back to what I said earlier, is it heaven and hell?
Right.
I'm not a numerology guy, but I am a gospel guy, right? If it pertains to the gospel, I'm all about that. But people will text me, hey, I had this dream, and they'll type the dream out. I mean, it's a text message that's forever long. What do you think this means? And full disclosure, I text my friend. I copy it. I send it to a friend of mine that is into that.
Yeah.
And he's really good. I mean, I do believe he's gifted to do it. And I said, what's this mean? And he sends it back, and then I forward it on. It's like this. But I tell people, listen,
This is what I think
No,
it means.
I don't do that. No plagiarism on dreams here. So I'm not disparaging anyone who is into numerology, but it's just not been a concept that I've really embraced or gotten a hold of. And here's the dots that I do want to connect based on the person's question, Matthew 6, 14 and 15. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. That's really where he was at. It was about the 70 times 7, 490. Bethlehem, 490. And yes, forgiveness is of the utmost importance, and I think the Christian community as a whole is missing that point.
Right.
The point is, I cannot have that unforgiveness in me, because it says right there, if I don't forgive, then I'm not forgiven. And I'm supposed to forgive the way Jesus forgave. And when I said, Lord, forgive me my sins, I don't think Jesus went, maybe
Think
not.
about it.
Yeah, let me think about it a while. No, I think it was Jesus forgave me. And the reason that the forgiveness part is so important is because out of the mouth speaks the abundance of
The heart.
the heart. It's a heart issue. And if I'm not forgiven, there's trouble there.
Is it hardened?
It is hard.
Might be.
And then even the wise man Solomon said, guard your hearts, guard them, because it determines the course for your life. So if there's unforgiveness there, it needs to come out. And yes, there's no question, Bethlehem House of Bread, broken body of Jesus was for our forgiveness. Yes, connect all that. The numerology part of it, I'm just not learned enough, to really understand that.
Learnt. Yeah.
Just a T, get rid of the ED.
Yes.
I'm not learnt enough.
Okay.
So, and in the end, Deuteronomy 29:29, secret things belong to the Lord. We'll just leave it at that. That's been my answer to a lot of people lately. It's like, where did the giants come from? The Nephilim? I don't know. Secret things belong to the Lord.
They're in the house of David.
I know they are. Oh, well, I did see that. There's some big fellas.
Yeah, that show. Let me plug. If you haven't watched House of David, you
Merch.
should watch it. It is so good.
I think
Literally, Isaiah's
I
watching
mentioned it
it.
in the last episode.
So good.
David's mom doing the
Yeah.
needlepoint stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wanted to get that one in before we got too late, didn't you?
No. The next question is,
Listener number 4.
this is like more of a personal question more than it is really a biblical question, in my opinion. Would you allow someone who is credentialed by another denomination to serve on staff at your church?
To stir up stuff at your church.
To stir up stuff at your church. To serve on staff at your church.
Short answer again. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And we have. I mean, as long as theologically
Match up.
we're at least close,
Right.
I'll say names because I don't think it's an issue. But there's a local church, Baptist church, that had a pastor. His name was Ricky Kirk, and at one point he thought he was going to go into missions, and it didn't pan out at that moment, and he was like without employment, no church, and so we hired. He worked here for I don't know how long. It wasn't like a year. I think it might have been 6 months. But yet our theology, for the most part, lined up, right? And so I think eventually I would want a staff person who if we brought a staff person on that was not credentialed in the Church of God, I would eventually want that to happen. I would eventually want them to assimilate into the Church of God, get their credentials either transferred or go through the process from beginning to end. But if it's somebody who was coming to our church and they were in a volunteer leadership position, I would still want that to happen. I just don't know that I would be as intense about it. But if they're on staff, I mean, I think, again, it goes back to if you're on staff, we would encourage you and expect you to become a member of the church. We call them partners. It's partnership instead of membership. And if you're going to become a member of the church, then you embrace the doctrine of the church. And so I think that would lead us to say, okay, we need to get your credentials either switched over or you need to go through the process. And that really depends on our upper structure, the state administrative bishop or the guy down in Cleveland, and they would make that decision. But I know of people that, and this is going way probably far away than what you intended. Church Got a Prophecy actually and the Church of God were one up until about 1920, 1922, something like that. And then we split. And at one time there was talk about us coming back together. And in that time, there was a couple of pastors that wanted to come over to the Church of God and pastor churches, and they were asked to turn in your credentials, turn in your college transcripts, and they were just transferred right over to have Church of God credentials. So I would eventually want them to pursue that, yes. But and I don't know if I've ever said this on the podcast, but I know I say it a lot. Every Protestant evangelical believer believes a lot of the basic tenets of faith. God created the world. Adam and Eve fell from grace. Jesus came to die so that we can be restored back into right relationship with God. He died. He was buried. He resurrected, ascended to the Father. He's coming back again someday, and he left us this thing called the Bible as an instruction booklet to follow until he comes back. We all believe that.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to get into denominational distinctives, that's going to be an issue, but we can all agree on that. So let's just join up arms and let's go. So if we're defining a staff person, I would hire them, sure, but I would want them to eventually assimilate. If it was a volunteer person, I would want them to eventually do that, but I probably wouldn't be as intense about it.
Okay. Next. This is good. And I know where this question came from because I've had some discussions about a specific person that has been on a bunch of videos and stuff on YouTube and not YouTube. What do the kids watch? The Tiki-Talkie.
Tiki-Talkie.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Tiki-Talkie.
But she calls herself an apostle.
Yeah.
Do you know who she is?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I know a bunch of them.
Well, this is I'll send you some videos.
It's not PW.
No.
Okay.
Should anyone today be called an apostle?
It depends on who's defining the word apostle.
The dictionary.
Well,
Just joking.
I don't think you can take the dictionary's
Mr.
definition.
Webster.
I think you have to look at the biblical definition,
Yeah.
right? Because they're holding an office, biblical office, and they want to be referred to that. So I'm not sure we even understand what that office is. But an apostle in Jesus' time
Was one who had seen Jesus, right?
Authorized messenger, had seen Jesus, experienced the resurrection, a resurrected Jesus. Some people would say that discounts Paul,
But he saw
but
him
he
on
saw
the road.
him on the road to Damascus. And here's the one that I think that I'm not going to say they don't want to hear this part of the definition, but it's one who is sent forth, right? An apostle is one who's sent forth. And in the Gospels, the one who is sent forth directly refers to someone who went and created a community of faith. All right? And I think that's apostles today don't want to they're not necessarily into that part of the work. They just want to come to what you got going on.
Yeah.
And espouse what they feel like maybe the Lord has laid on their heart. So in biblical times, it was someone who had seen Jesus, called by him. But today, it seems like too often it's just used as an office of recognition.
Yeah.
You know, that we just throw that out there, and I think we're losing it. There was a guy, and I read this earlier, so let me just read it to you. He defines an apostle as one called and sent by Christ to have the spiritual authority, character, gifts, and abilities to reach and establish people in kingdom, truth, and order, especially through founding and overseeing local churches. Founding and overseeing local churches. An apostle should have a burden to build something that did not exist before. But that's not what I see in people that call themselves apostles today. They're not building something that didn't exist before. They're actually standing up in places that have been there for a while, right?
Yeah.
So,
Or that someone else has built.
or that, yes. So, 1 Corinthians 9:2, even though I may not be an apostle to others, Paul says to the church at Corinth, surely I am to you, the church at Corinth, because that's a church that Paul built, started. He wasn't the pastor there, but he was instrumental in creating that community of faith. The last part of that verse says, "For you are the seal of my apostleship in the Lord." Who's the seal? The Corinthians. So I think that we're losing the definition of the word, and we're just using it very lightly when it means something that seems to be pretty specific.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that sometimes people use it to legitimize what they say, right? If I could say I'm an apostle, then what I'm about to say, you better
Carries
listen
more
up.
weight. Yeah.
You better listen up.
Yeah. I struggle with it. My answer is no.
Okay, thank you.
One word. No.
You sound very hardened, Holly.
It's no. I don't think. I just don't think we should be using it. I think that it should be pastor, minister, bishop. I mean, I'm okay with all those things. I'm not okay with apostle. I'm not okay with prophetess or prophet, which that's another, this particular person that this question was about. You know, she says, "I am the spiritual daughter of a prophet." And she calls herself an apostle. And I'm like, I mean, first of all, why do you have to doctor it all up? Like, why do you have to, like, I feel like if you are preaching the word and you are, preaching it in truth and you're living a life full of conviction and integrity, you don't have to add all those titles. Well, what are you trying to prove by adding all those titles then?
I don't know, and it's been my experience. Again, I've been in ministry pretty much my entire adult life. Full-time ministry for 35 years, pastored this church for 23 years. To me, the most impactful, influential way that I can be in a position of pastor is to serve people. To serve people.
Yeah.
Not to somehow hold myself. I mean, I am an ordained bishop in the Church of God, but I don't require people to call me bishop.
Right.
I don't require people to call me pastor.
You don't really like it. I mean, you're not against it,
but for this very reason, though,
Right.
because I don't want people to think, well, he just wants people calling him bishop so that he can be all that.
Yeah.
No, there were three people that have called me bishop. One was Larry Metcalf.
Yeah.
He's passed away, but he always called me bishop.
Yeah.
One is K.O. Wilson.
Yeah.
K.O. is a member of our church. Suffered a stroke several years ago. Hasn't been here for a while, but he always called me bishop. He found a Coke bottle when they had different names on them. He found one that said bishop and brought it to me. And then his sister, Diane, which I'm saying names. She works at a local medical facility, and when I go there for a doctor's visit or whatever, she'll see me and she'll say, "Hey, Bishop." But on the norm, that title means, it doesn't mean anything to me in that sense. It does mean something to me that I can vote at the assembly and I could run for the Pope position if I wanted to.
You don't. I saw all that he has to do during that. Good grief. That's a lot.
Not interested in that at all. So I think that we need to be careful when we start using some of the either fivefold ministry or just some of the titles.
That's literally the name of this person's church.
That's the name of the church?
Stop. I am not joking. The name of her church is Fivefold Church.
Wow.
Well, I mean, that's not bad. That's not an awful thing.
I'm going to send this lady's crazy.
Prophet, teacher, preacher, apostle, and I don't even remember what the fifth one was.
I honestly, and we might get sued for this. I think
Great.
I think this woman is demonic.
How much money do you think your wife will send us for plugging Sorry Charlie?
Sorry, Charlie's.
I don't know.
Would it be enough to cover a lawsuit?
I don't think so.
It's disturbing.
Oh, well.
Anyways.
Better hurry up and move on.
I will say, to me, the most honored title is to be called pastor. Like over bishop, over minister, over all those things. And I will just speak personally when it comes to my husband. When I hear people call him Pastor Ryan, that means a lot to me because I know that they're looking at him in a way that some people, don't. Like even we were at a bridal shower over the weekend, and was sitting at a table, and someone said, "Yeah, Pastor Ryan," and I was just like, "That's nice," because I know that that's how they view him.
Yeah, I've been called a lot of things. I think pastor's fine. I'm okay with that. I mean, people around here that know me, they call me PT, Pastor Terry. If someone was going to introduce me at some kind of a gathering, I think servant. I think that would be if they recognized me as a servant.
But isn't that a pastor?
Well, that's what a pastor should be.
Right.
But again, I think sometimes we throw out some of these titles and we're missing what the meaning of these things are.
Yeah.
We're just using them to establish, an office or a person or whatever. And I think, leadership, any leadership in the church is a servanthood position.
Right.
And for someone to recognize that and say, no, that person, that guy, that gal, because we do believe in lady pastors.
We talked about that.
That if there goes a servant right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I don't know, as far as ministry goes, I don't know that there would be a better compliment than that.
I know, but people don't say it's Servant Terry. Like, that's not what they say.
It's ST.
ST.
Oh, my goodness. Anyways, next question.
That's too close to Etsy.
What has denying yourself and taking up your cross look like in your own life?
Oh, boy. In my own life, it's been hard. It's not. Denying yourself is something that's never easy, right? Denying yourself is something that can be a real challenge. I look at denying myself, and Luke 9:23 was probably the first sermon I ever preached. It was to some teens in Indiana. And that was, if you choose to follow Christ, first you deny yourself, you pick up your cross, you follow him. You can't pick up the cross, you can't follow him until you first deny yourself. And denying yourself is saying that I'm trying to rid myself of original sin, which I think is selfishness. Mm-hmm. I got to rid myself of being selfish. I have to somehow set aside not even things that are bad. I need to set aside things that are stumbling blocks. I need to set aside things that are maybe in someone else's way of hearing what the good news is. Even Paul said, all things are lawful for me to do. I can do whatever. Everything's lawful for me to do, but not all things are helpful. I think that is a good biblical definition right there of denying yourself. I can do it, and I could do it, and it's not even unlawful, but it may not be beneficial for me to do it, not only just for me, but for someone else.
Right.
And I think that 1 Corinthians 8:9, beware lest somehow this liberty that you have, right, becomes a stumbling block. I think again, that is denying yourself. I have the liberty. All things are permissible. All things I can do they're not unlawful. But am I benefiting someone else? Am I building up someone else? Am I exhorting or edifying the body of Christ? And that's a hard lesson. Yeah. It is a hard lesson because, again, we are, it's LoxyHalls21 at AOL.com.
No, I don't check my email.
I think that at the root of the sinful nature is selfishness. And that's what I've learned is that I need to use that simple definition of humility. God first, others second, self last. That is the conduit to denying yourself. Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, it's realizing that what I think does not matter all the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Yeah. And that my initial reaction does not need to be my opinion or even my desire, but my initial reaction is to make sure I am checking those things, my opinion, my desire, my actions, with what the Lord has already said in his word. Yep. And learning to shut my mouth.
Ooh.
Shut your mouth.
Shut that mouth.
Learning to shut my mouth and stay silent sometimes when I want to bark back or when I want to prove somebody wrong. I've seen that so much literally in the past 6 months. I will just sit there and listen to somebody just say just ignorant things, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
great.
You know what? One of the tough ones for me was learning that I don't always have to one up somebody.
Oh yeah,
That you sit and listen to some conversations, and the whole conversation is just the next person one ups the person before.
yes,
And there are times when I just sit there and like you said, you listen and you're thinking of all these things that you want to say, and you just clap it back. Nope, I'm not going to say it.
yeah,
And but I do think it is thinking of God first, others second, self last, and that is to rid ourselves of this thing called selfishness.
yeah. All right, last question.
Last question.
What advice would you give someone who feels behind in life but wants to trust God's plan? So I know the person who obviously sent this in.
Unpack it, Holly. From listener number 5.
This person feels like other people are moving forward with their life, and they feel like that they're kind of stuck in a rut, per se, that they're not advancing. And when they do try and advance, it's almost like nothing's really working out, and they're trying to trust the Lord, but they feel very stuck.
Well, there's a couple answers there. You know, one is that when you get to that place, again, it goes back a couple episodes, but who's deciding at that point that you're stuck?
Right.
Because it's not turning out the way you thought it was going to turn out, you can come to the conclusion that you're stuck. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe there's something that the Lord's trying to show you right now. Maybe there's something the Lord's trying to tell you right now. The one thing that I think is the big uber answer here is patience.
Yeah.
And we are a culture and a society that has none. Right? If I have a headache, I want to pop a pill and I want it to go away. If I want a meal, I want to nuke it in the microwave and I want to eat. I want what I want it now. And unfortunately, too often that rides into my spiritual journey. Mm-hmm. And I would say to the person, number one, you must be saying it because you feel like you're not where you should be in God's plan, but who's deciding that?
Right.
Right? I mean, maybe you're exactly where you're supposed to be in God's plan.
Yes.
And rather than celebrate that, we're whining about it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's exactly where God wants us to be. I don't know. Isaiah 40:31, those whose hope, or those who wait on the Lord, renew their strength, right? Soar with wings like eagles, run, won't grow weary, walk, won't be faint. Why not focus? If you're in that waiting period, if you're in that period where you feel like I should be moving forward, but I don't feel like I'm going, wait on the Lord.
Yeah.
And someone, one of the bigwig preachers on YouTube or whatever said, that word waiting is like serving.
This means serving.
Like
I
a
was
servant.
going to say that.
Okay, well, let's back up and I'll let you say it.
All right.
One of the bigwig preachers on the YouTube said,
Waiting, that word waiting means serving.
see how I denied
So
myself?
smart, Holly.
Thank
See
you.
how I denied myself just then?
What they call a waiter a server. I got a devil.
Psalm 27:14, wait for the Lord. Be strong, take heart, wait for the Lord.
Yeah.
Psalm 37:7, be still before the Lord, wait for him patiently. Mm-hmm. And I just think that we make sure you're doing all the things you're supposed to be doing. Now, if you're at a place where you're not moving forward,
Right.
it could be because there is something that you have not denied yourself of, or something that, but, and this is one of those phrases that I use a lot, but in those moments, we're praying for the Lord to deliver us rather than develop us. And in that moment, he might be trying to develop you. I was serving in a church in an associate role, and I really felt like the Lord was bringing me to a point where it's time to pastor a church. It was time for me to become the servant, the shepherd of the church. I can just tell you that from the moment that I felt that until the moment it happened, probably 4 years. Probably 4 years. And in that 4 years, yes, there were times when I got calls from churches. I was serving at this church, and the overseer of another state called the pastor of the church, which is what they're supposed to do. Hey, we would like to talk to Terry about a church that's open in this state, blah, blah, blah. And I would go, and I was like, yeah, finally, this is it. And it wasn't. And to me, in that moment, what made it worse was not only was not it, but now I got to go back to serve in the church that they think I want to leave. Right. And there was sitting here now, there was so much that I learned in that 4 years that I would not have learned if I would have. And I could have easily taken that situation into my own hands and made something happen.
Right.
So I think we just, number one, self-check, make sure that, all's good here. But after that, then be patient.
Yeah.
Wait on the Lord. I was 14 years from being volunteer in ministry to being in full-time ministry.
Yeah.
14 years. And then 12 years at that church before I became a pastor.
Right.
So you came late to the party if you don't understand patience, because I think I've got a good grip on that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times we play the comparison game as well, right?
Oh, sure.
Since this person's doing this and this person's doing that, then I feel like I should be doing this. I mean, I know I talk about it a lot, and we'll close this all out, but the whole story with Isaiah, I have friends that I graduated high school with who has children that have graduated high school. You know what I'm saying? They had kids quickly, but I didn't. My road was very different, and I'm thankful for that. But at the time, I see, well, this person's graduating college, and this person's doing this, and I'm still serving tables because I have no idea what I want to do with my life. And eventually, things started falling into place once I started trusting the Lord and stopped taking things into my own hands.
That's it.
Yeah.
And quit deciding on your own that this is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because it might not be.
Okay.
Our podcast is over and we are going home.
I'm going to the ball field.
Goodbye, goodbye. We'll see you all next season. You don't remember that? That was a VBS song from back when I went to VBS.
Yeah. Well, why would we remember that? We're not old.
That means it's old.
We're very young and hip.
Suddenly decide I'm not sure I like it anymore.
Thank you for joining us this season. It's been a wonderful season. I think I had an awesome time.
Yeah.
Really good episodes.
Yep.
And I pray that you will share this and like it and rate it and review it and send it to somebody.
And chew on it.
All the things.
Absorb it.
Yes. And if you haven't gone and listened to our older episodes, you should do that as well.
Where you been?
Yeah. So we'll see you next season, whenever that happens. And we love you. And until then, bye.
Peace.